Hello and welcome back to Suicide Pages with Dr. Lulu, the podcast. Today's episode is a very special episode. We're having more than one mochalicious doctor in the building. I usually don't do this, but these two women I met one of them more recently, but the other one I feel like I've known her forever. And I just thought, you know what, we're all going through this whole lockdown thing together. It's a brand new phenomenon. We don't know it before. It's never happened before. So how are we really, truly doing? And every day we look in the news, we hear about another doctor killing themselves. I mean, what is really happening? How are we really, truly feeling about this? So today I'm joined by Dr. Katherine, we're going to call her Dr. K, and Dr. Yashika. We're going to just kind of have a frank discussion because we also happen to all be Black women. And if you just look in the news a little bit further, you will see more stuff happening to Black people, which is just enough to cause you to go, what really is going on? And so we're going to have an open discussion. Thank you so much, as usual, for listening, for downloading, for sharing. And let's get the party started. So Dr. K, I'm going to start with you. You want to give us a brief intro about who you are and, of course, why you're here?
Sure. So, well, first of all, thank you for having me on. It's very cool, your podcast. And my full name is Dr. Katherine Igah-Phillips. So a lot of people just call me just the letter K, Dr. K. And let's see, how do I describe really fast what I do? I do a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm in private practice. My practice is an integrative practice. So I bring in natural healing remedies to conventional medicine. And then I do everything under the framework of balancing the mind, the body, and the spirit at all times. So I'm never just hopping in the physical realm alone. I'm always addressing and analyzing these other realms for people. And I use that platform as a space for true, authentic healing that involves healing modalities from all around. If the person needs conventional medicine mixed with African medicine or mixed with Chinese medicine or Ayurvedic or homeopathic, whatever is needed to get the person healed. And that space is kind of the prerequisite for catapulting the person to then address their social wholeness, their financial wellness, their ecological wellness, to achieve an overall elevation of consciousness. So that's what I help people do with my brick and mortar and then with my virtual coaching program. And
well, sounds like we need you.
That's it.
This time of the year. I mean, with all the stuff that's been going on, sounds like we definitely need someone who is in the true sense of the word holistic, with a WH, holistic, the whole person. So that's amazing. That's amazing.
Thank you.
And of course, we have Dr. Yashika with a beautiful smile. So Dr. Yashika and I have kind of known each other for a little bit. How do you want to approach this? Who are you? And I guess, why are you here, right?
Hi, so thanks for having me. My name is Yashika Dooley, and I am a board-certified OBGYN. I do urogynecology, and, essentially I just say I'm a women's health expert. I have been taking care of women for over 20 years, and right now my biggest focus is I do weight loss for women, so really helping them with like food cravings. And then outside of that, like working with other physicians, I mentor and sponsor other women, primarily women of color, who are interested in going into, in a medical practice, becoming physicians. And so my goal is to get more amazing female physicians out there and being able to support the world.
Well, that sounds like I need you in my life with that. But I think the both of you, because I think I've gained my COVID-19, like literally.
Oh, goodness.
You know what I mean? I've gained my COVID-19, but I digress. So let's get started. So essentially, my main aim for having this particular special episode is to discuss everything that's been going on, both medically, physically, at home, mentally, as parents, as doctors, as providers, but also specifically as African-American women, your take on the stuff that's been going on and how has it affected you, if at all it has affected you. So that's okay. You want to start?
Ooh, yes, that's a lot. First, I will say it has affected me. I don't know how it could not affect people. I just feel that even if something isn't happening to me directly, I'm always still affected by like the collective emotions and the impact on the collective people and collective consciousness. So it's been quite overwhelming because this is something that just was kind of sprung on us. You know, no one really had time to prepare for this. And it's called for a lot of shifting and a lot of change to occur. And, you know, we are creatures of habit. So when presented with immediate change, it's not always easy to deal with. I personally tried, took the avenue of leaning into the crisis and also finding silver linings in order to keep myself personally sane and empowered and just enriched, like spiritually and mentally, to be able to guide others. So that's been my like secret weapon to navigating through all of this, because if I continue to focus on the calamity and the negativity and the death rate now today and the, you know, infection rate now today and who's doing, you know, all of these things, as well as you mentioned, other things that are happening in society outside of the virus that's just as terrible, you can kind of send yourself into like a whirlwind of depression and anxiety and just constantly brewing negative thoughts, which then, you know, causes you to put that out and attract it back energetically. So I try to give myself mental breaks from that and try to encourage people and foster the reversal of fear, the reversal of anxiety and empowerment around what's going on, and just preparation for what's coming and acceptance of what's going on. So I feel a lot of people haven't really accepted what's so in the world. And that's a big step to basically uplifting yourself and dealing with this.
You know, I haven't thought about it that way. I mean, I think I've accepted it, but have I really truly accepted it? I just said today, I miss the world as it was before, because I watched something in the news. I generally don't watch TV, but I watched something in the news and they were talking about, I don't know what, but they showed some show on Broadway that had to be stopped like abruptly. I'm like, really? Like Broadway? Like, then I realized, but they're also in New York, their hardest hit. I can see how they can be mourning that. But I'm like, hardly the problem right now. And I do miss the world. I miss dressing up and putting on my shoes to go wherever. And I was like, I really miss that. So Dr. Chang, do you think we're ever going to get back to that world that as it was? Dr. K is talking about the fact that we all need to just, she used a very nice phrase. She said we need to shift and change. What do you think about that? Shifting and changing. What do you think? What are your thoughts about that?
I totally agree. I mean, this time for me has caused me to really stop and just really evaluate what I've been doing over the past couple of years, really looking at my priorities, where I've been choosing to spend my time, where I've been choosing to spend my money, where I've been choosing to place my values. And because this came about so abruptly and really pulled a lot of that away from us, it's given us a lot of time and space really just to reevaluate, like, do I want to spend all this time doing all these things, all this busy work, or is it kind of nice just to be with my family, with my kids, you know, my 7 and my 9-year-old, and really just having more intentional time that I never had before because the world is just so busy. And I think in a lot of ways, like, yes, there are a lot of things going on that, you know, lots of death and lots of, you know, dramatic things that are just hard to deal with. But in everything that's happened, you know, I just believe, you know, God has a higher purpose and a higher calling. I don't know what it is. It's not for me to decide, but it's really just about being prayerful about it and saying, you know, let your will be done. I'm just going to try to figure out how to do it in this new way. And I don't want everything to go back, at least for my family. There's a lot of things that we have had to change, and it's actually been really great changes, you know? And so for those things, I'm like, sometimes change is good. And we probably wouldn't have made those changes had this not happened in this way. And so for many things, I don't want to go back. And I hope that I can continue to do some of the things that I'm doing now. But sometimes you have to have something major happen in your life to make you stop and reevaluate what you've been doing and to question, is that really important? Do I want to continue to do it? Sometimes you say yes, but oftentimes you say no.
And thank God that we can say no, because one of the things that are very hard for most people is to say no. Not only to say no to other people, but also to say no to yourself. And yes, if there's ever been a time to pivot, this is the time to, and I think I said once that those who are mentally able to adapt are the ones that are going to survive. In other words, you don't have to have the virus or the infection, but can you really adapt to the new world, as because it's never going to be the same. I can't see the future, but I already know that, you know, it's not going to be the same. And thank God that thank God for those of us that are going to be able to hopefully make it, because we don't even know how long it's going to last. Like this time next year, we might still be.
Absolutely.
So Dr. K, I'm going to come back to you and ask you, so what are the things specifically that you've done? I don't know, maybe at home. I like the way that Dr. Chang mentioned that spending more time with her children. And ironically, most people say, oh, I can't wait to go home and spend time with my kids. And then God gave you 6 weeks and then all of a sudden, oh, I'm tired. It's like, what do you want? You know, you got the 6 weeks. And ironically, we don't have more time. We all think about, we all still have 24 hours. It's just how you manage the 24 hours that is now going to be different. So Dr. K, coming back to you, what changes have you made in particular, like on the home front, specifically at home, to help either your children or your family or maybe extended family adapt to this new change?
A lot of things. So I really like what Doc was saying about the change. Like when people are always saying, I wish I could go back, I'm always asking them like, well, what part of back did you want to go to? Because like what part are you really rushing to give? The slaving, the endless hours at work, the not seeing your children because they're at school and you're in the office, the not seeing your husband, but you know, like what part? So for me, I've just been kind of just loving it all. So at home, like you were saying, we're forced to be together. And even before that, we're just forced to be, period. And a lot of people don't really recognize that the power in just being. And everyone is always quick to do. And what am I doing now in my to-do list, and what I didn't get done and what I have to do now. And you're just rushing so fast that you miss the present moment. And then you look back and you're like, when did I turn this age? You know, and that's how that happens. And to just be like with yourself, I think a lot of people were confronted with the fact that they didn't know how to be with themselves. So that was the first I did, was they take time to get to know Katherine, to get to know like me at this age and what I love and what I don't like and what I need to grow. Things I just was like, I don't have time for that. I got to go to work, or I got to do this, or I got to type these notes up, you know. And now I have no excuse because time is here. So I was able to find what lights me up, and now I'm putting time into that and what drives me and inspires me. And I'm crunching out a book, crunching out another, like everything is like, the creativity is like do, 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 do. And with my family, I'm rediscovering my relationship with my husband even. Like we've been married since 2014, and it's like we're like refinding each other because, you know, we weren't like, nothing was like wrong, but it was just we weren't being with each other. Like we were just, he would be off at work, I would be off at work. And now when you're forced to sit and be with one another, it's like,
I get it.
Just face to
I get it with my children. You know, I was so happy that my kids were home.
Talk about and you just friendship. Yeah, it's the same thing. You rediscover your children. My daughter is 3, so she is in that phase where it's like mommy attachment, you know. And the fact that she's home with mommy and daddy, and I'm able to like homeschool her, and I'm getting benefits from the homeschooling because she's on her 3rd language, so I'm on my 3rd language. So, on a 3-year-old level, let's be clear. but but it's just so fun to me to actually watch her grow and develop, whereas I was just kind of like, here, school system, you know, take care of her
Child.
while
Mm-hmm.
right. Yeah. And it's strange because even though I'm physically distant from my friends with social distancing, I actually feel closer because I'm actually reaching out to people more and being intentional about when people cross my mind to shoot them a text or give them a call. How are you doing? Are you okay? And you're checking on people more, and you're just being more humane because there's time to actually recognize the other people on this planet with you. And the last thing is I'm recognizing nature.
Mm-hmm.
And I so appreciate nature's comeback in all of this. Like, it's unfortunate that it took a pandemic for nature to be able to regain its power from us, because we have been so toxic to nature for so long, and nature was like, sit down, you know, like, I'm taking over. So, you know, it's funny that it happened this way. It's just interesting, but it's so beautiful to watch, like, endangered species coming out of endangerment because we're not killing them off with massive amounts of pollution, seeing major cities' air clearing
I was
up.
going to say that.
Just all of these things.
Yeah. And
right. The
Beijing.
ocean clearing. Yeah, everything is just so beautiful. And it's cleansed and detoxed. And this is our home, and we only get one. And we were like rampant, like destroying it at an alarming rate. And now we got a chance to save Earth from an ecological perspective. And that is truly beautiful to me.
That was so well put. While you were speaking, I was writing down skyline of Beijing, like just popped, like, wait, it used to be there, but we couldn't see it. And then LA, and made the news. And of course, there was videos of bears taking walks in London and strolling and just enjoying life. So you're very, 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 there's ever been, for me, because I've been working from home for nearly 2 years now, but now I get to walk twice a day. Like, I walk around my neighborhood, I just doing, I'm just looking, I'm just chilling. I was like, oh yeah, that tree branch has actually nearly reached the roof. And look, I'm seeing things that I couldn't see necessarily before, because I'm in a rush to take my son to school and then to go to his teacher and everything that we called life. So Dr. Chang, I'm going to come back to you because you also have small children, maybe not as small as hers, but not quite as big as mine.
Yeah.
What have been the challenges with your children, regardless of the fact that, we've had more time to spend with them? That's true.
Yeah.
And Dr. K, remind me to come back to you about that, learning a third language, because I have something to say to you about that.
Okay.
Dr. Chang, what have been the challenges, if any, just hanging out with your kids with this time, 6 to 8 weeks of blessings is what I'm going to call them?
Yeah. I think our kids teach us the most about ourselves. They are really our best teachers. And so being with them all day, every day for this prolonged period has really showed me areas that I want to work on, areas where I always thought, I had a lot of patience, but, your kids highlight both your strengths and your weaknesses, and they highlight it so well in those key moments. Because even sometimes they'll say to you stuff you've said to them, and you're like, oh, okay then,
That was not,
take a step back. Let me think about that. So I think for me, it's been really good because they're at that age where, they'll repeat what you say and they know how to say it at the right time. And so it's been really interesting just to watch myself in different situations. Because, there are lots of great times, but kids in a house all day, not seeing their friends, like, there are explosions between a 7 and a 9 that happen. They love on each other, and all of a sudden it's like World War V that just broke out. And so it's just and it cycles throughout the day, right? So it's just even navigating that and just seeing those interactions and learning how I deal with it, and learning how to deal with it better, because we all are challenged at different points, but it's even more when you're doing it day after day. And you realize too that everybody is working to find a new normal, for them too. It's a different thing. And so just learning how to navigate this and be more graceful in my parenting, have more acceptance that they're just 7, they're just 9. I shouldn't expect them to be, you know, like a 30-year-old adult. Like, I have to realize they're still children. COVID just happened, but they're still 7 and 9. They're going to act like 7 and 9-year-olds do. And so I need to then act accordingly and realize they're acting like they're supposed to. How do I need to change my reaction to that?
I love it. I love it. I mean, I love it. Just lots and lots of nuggets. I'm trying to write down the quotes, because I usually highlight the quotes. Our kids are our best teachers, and then be more graceful in my parenting. That is just so rich.
Yeah.
I just love the way it kind of flows, because I have had to struggle with recognizing my son, the adult.
Yes.
It's hit me this 6 weeks. This morning, I had he said, "Mom, you know, I don't want you telling me this, that, and the other, because it makes me feel like I'm not a good big brother, but I am a good big brother." And he defended it so well, and I get teary-eyed. He said, "No, I am a good big brother. I'm actually a good big brother. I'm doing this and doing that." I'm like, "Yes, you are." You know, I was like, "Oh, yes, you are." But I needed the 6 weeks, because for once he wasn't coming for a vacation for 3 weeks and then have to go back and then focus on coming and leaving. That's all. I'm not focusing on the dash between the coming and the leaving, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm like focusing on the dash. Oh my God, he is grown. And the other day he bought himself his birthday present. He went to go pick it up because he's gonna be 22. He said, "Mom, don't worry, I got it, because I don't want to put any pressure on you." And just I met my son, the man. Like, oh my
Yes.
God, he is a man. And
Yeah.
it was very, very emotional for me. This morning I cried and cried some more. I was like, yes, he's grown. And when he leaves this time around, he's leaving for masters for good. I'm really struggling with that, because it's like my first fruit.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had to go back and thank I wrote a piece for Kevin MD in the bathroom in my head today. And it was called Meeting My Son. I think it was called something about Mom, Doc, COVID way or something, because I realized that the mom part has been missing, because I met this kid that's 22, but his 21 years was in here, but all of a sudden, yeah, he is 22. And I needed COVID. I needed the time to stop for me to see him in his manness, and that's it. And I'm so thankful for that. So for me, it's been very, very emotional dealing with that final empty nester, like numero uno. This is actually going to happen, like for real. Next, we're going to just kind of hop on to work. Because we have tried to kind of meander around it, but it's real. And then we'll talk about the outside world. But let's talk about work for a minute. So Dr. K, how has work been affected or not by the COVID-19 lockdown, quarantine, however you want to call it?
Mm-hmm. So the practice aspect of my work, that was probably most just because people couldn't physically come anymore with social distancing. And also I was trying to be the face of prevention, right? So I didn't want to turn into like a hospital for people who were actively full-blown infected. I was the person who was preventing you from getting the virus. So I had a lot of people still coming through so that I can give their immune system that super boost with my therapies. But the volume started to, in the beginning, like the first 2 months, March, April, I saw a decline in volume. And then that's when I had to pick up on the other side with my like speaking engagements and webinars and coaching, the virtual, before I completely transitioned my practice to be virtual with telemedicine. So I just had to keep morphing like a chameleon to keep up with what was going on and, you know, what the governor decided to do today. And are we home? Are we out? Are we? So I transitioned as much as I could to be virtual so people could still get the benefit of the practice. And then that is what has been helping me to maintain, whereas I do have a lot of colleagues who have had to shut their doors, a lot of people who have had to close their businesses, a lot of specialists who the decline was severe to where it's like I can't pay rent, you know, to even keep my lights on, like all of that. So I've just been very, very grateful that I've been able to keep going through this, and people keep coming and keep utilizing the services, and been getting a lot of like professionals, you know, like other doctors like chiropractors and other like colleagues who want to boost their immune system because they are on the front line. So when my normal patient count or my ideal patient, when they couldn't come, then I just received a different audience, if that makes sense.
That's awesome.
And I've just been helping wherever I can, just here to help.
Because I mean, at the end of this, you will be able to now reap from both, you know, areas, which is really amazing. And I know Dr. Chang has a different perspective on practice and how it's been affected because she is in the military. So I can't wait to hear how that has affected or not affected her. But that's amazing because for me personally, my practice was already semi-tele. You just went straight telemedicine, was amazing. The teenagers, they're always on their phones. So I was like at home. But the beauty of it for me is now I'm able to see their homes. I'm able to see their bedrooms and really what goes on at home. And they show me their garden, they show me their pets. One of them, the one I had today, the second patient I saw today, she showed me a little box with kittens that she was babysitting for a neighbor. And this is something that I would never, she would have told me about it in the office, but I was able to see the kittens and, you know, and she told me their names, Buttercup and whatever. That's a whole new way of practicing medicine that I would have never been able to see. And now I can see their parents, I can meet their brothers and sisters, and I can just see the dynamics at home. What's really going on at home for this kid that I'm trying to save? So, you know, many things have come out of this that we may not see as they're happening, but really have been good. So Dr. Chang, how has your practice been affected by this whole lockdown period?
So, like you said, you know, I am active duty military, so it's a little bit different. You know, military is used to tempos and rhythms, and we deploy, and when things happen, we ramp up real quick. And, you know, it, for us, hasn't been quite as bad. Like, you know, we don't have the issues as far as, you know, payers and RVUs and paychecks. You know, for us, that has been the same. You know, we're used to dealing with dramatic situations, and, you know, they will in a heartbeat throw up a triage tent, and, you know, within 24 hours we had triage tents up outside in the parking lot, and, you know, they go into full battle mode.
Yes.
But it's what we're used to, right? So I feel like for the hospital and the people in it, we are so used to that environment. You get called 24 hours and you got to be in another country in 48.
Yes.
And your family knows I'm out, and you may not be able to tell them where you're going.
Yes.
I think because we're so used to dramatic transitions like that, and you hear it all the time, I think we were able to adapt a little bit quicker because it's what we do, right? We do it. It's what we train for day in and day out. It's what we do all the time. For me, it's been a little bit different because right before COVID, I broke my hand. You know, I broke my hand like the last week of February. I had surgery the first week of March. My right hand, I'm dominant right hand. And so I had already kind of mentally prepared that I was going to be out for a while. You know, I delivered babies, surgeon. Clearly, I wasn't going to be doing any of that. I was in a cast. Yeah. So it's been a radical whirlwind for me. I think COVID kind of just fit in nicely because I was already going to be on the back burner for a couple of months. And so, you know, I just felt like, okay, I'm going to like wind down even further. And I've been doing just more administrative stuff. You know, really, we have the residents and we're a teaching program. I think that's the hardest place where we're really struggling because we want to, you know, have great military physicians, and our physicians go all over the world, and they need to be like ready to do whatever because they might be at some base where they are the only or one of two or one of three. And so for us, it's really about how do we get them the numbers? How do we get them the training? Because they might be graduating and be in Japan, you know, in a couple of weeks or whatever. I think that's been the hardest thing, you know, as far as our hospital is concerned, making sure that everybody is still what we call battle ready, you know, ready to go out there and do the mission because we are soldiers first.
Yes, that's amazing. That is amazing. It's funny how three of us are doctors and three of us have totally different experiences with this whole thing. And if there were 10 of us, it would be 10 different
Absolutely.
perspectives. And that's the beauty of it. But being able to adapt and pivot, make rapid changes is critical, because I lost two of my biggest sources of income. But hallelujah to multiple sources of income. And like Dr. K said, I started writing, I started coaching more. I'm like, okay, there are people that need to look at book writing coach and this coach and that. And it's like, wait, they're actually people. Whereas, the softer side of me as a doctor, we're trained to not ask too much, but, you just got to ask if your kids are like, Mom, so what's for dinner? Okay, let me ask. So, but being able to adapt mentally, physically, and however whichly is critical. And then, of course, not to get drowned in it and now bite too much that you can't even chew. Which is not the case for me, but it could easily be the case. And so I really appreciate that. Wow. Ladies, this has been awesome. I love it. I didn't know where it was going to go. And I was like, I'm just going to wing it. No, nothing planned. That's okay. She joined my previous meeting because it was like, it was that rapid succession of meetings back to back, thanks to Zoom. But so we're going to go through a couple of things. First of all, any final, I hate the word final, any last, I don't know, parting words, and then of course, where can the viewers or the listeners, and maybe viewers, because I want to start a YouTube channel, but so maybe viewers as well as listeners, where can they find you? So you ladies are going to be my first on my YouTube channel that's going to be called Swiss.
Yay!
But yeah, so parting words and where can the viewers find you? I feel like we should keep going. So maybe if you still want to go, I've got time, but I know it's also dinner time. You all just got back from work and all that. So I don't want to overstay my welcome. But if you have any words to say anywhere they can find you, that'll be awesome.
Well, you asked me to remind you about the languages.
Yes.
Something about language.
I'm so proud of you because my ADHD.com would not let me. So I speak 8 languages. One of the languages that I speak proficiently is Spanish. And so when my eldest son came home, he was looking through his baby brother's grades and was like, Mom, what are you doing here speaking Spanish? And so is like his mid-80s. And I was like, every time I ask him, he says he's doing fine. And so right away, I went into mom teacher mode. And then so every night at 10 o'clock is the Spanish hour. And ironically, I was complaining that I was missing him because every morning he used to drive to school and I rode shotgun. And then he would inspire. We have about 7 minutes of conversation every morning while he was going to school. I missed that. And then to turn around and now we have this hour in the evening Spanish. And so he's perfecting his Spanish while I'm working with him. So I now learned that I can still do something, I can still bond with him in a different way. And then that gave birth to my online course, which I'm teaching, which I was going to teach just teenagers about suicide prevention or just parents. But now I'm going to do a class that parents and their kids could learn together because of this experience I have with my son. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is like, you just don't see the good while it's happening. Because what do they say? You can't see yourself in the picture if you're in the frame or whatever.
Yeah.
Good things are happening. So thank you for remembering that. That's what I want. So keep going at it with your daughter and the third language. I'm all about that. I'm all about that.
Oh, thank you. That was beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Yes. So any parting words, Dr. K?
Parting words. I would just say, in the face of everything that's going on, we're all in this together. So I don't want people to feel like isolated or bombarded or beat up or ganged up on. We're all in this together. And it's just very important to, one, always find silver linings, as much as possible. That's how you can start to shift your perspective of what's going on. And minimize fear, because that is what's causing people to make irrational decisions, it's compromising you physically. Fear actually suppresses the immune system. So there's just nothing that serves you with all of the negative emotions. So again, just accepting we're going into a new normal. We're all going together into a new normal. It's happening to all of us. And it's basically almost like an evolution that's occurring. Kind of like a survival of the fittest, but not restricted only to physical realm fittest, but mental realm fittest and spiritual realm fittest. So it's important to use this quiet time before the storm to actually get yourself in the running to be one of the fittest.
So I thought this was the
Right.
storm. So this is the calm before the storm?
This is the calm. This is the calm. This is the
If this is
calm.
the calm, I don't know what the storm is.
Oh no, and the thing is that you don't have to know, and you don't have to understand what's going on. You know, there, like Dr. Chang said, there's a bigger agenda at work, and this is God's plan. And we love to make plans, and God laughs all the time.
Hello.
So, not to try to under everything and to fit them into our boxes. The key is to just accept what is so and position yourself so that you can be a better version of yourself moving into what's coming next. And if you can't see it or don't know how, you get with someone who can help you. Right?
Reach
It's
out.
that simple.
Right? Just
Yeah.
reach out. The two best words in the world. Reach out.
Yes, reach out.
Where can they find you? Where can they find you?
Yeah, so on social media, both Instagram and Facebook, my handle is at elevatewithDrK. So just elevatewithDrK. And that is where you have access to me, to my coaching program, to anything I'm doing. I have a masterclass coming up next week, actually.
Yes.
And oh yeah, I put it in the group for you guys. Yeah. the Mind, Body, Spirit Masterclass, where I just walk people through elevation in each of those realms all of next week. So that would fit perfectly into what I'm saying for people preparation wise.
Yes.
And then for my practice, it's called Mind, Body, Spirit Wellness Center. So the social media handles for my practice is at Mind, Body, Spirit Wellness Inc. INC. That's how you can find me.
Yes. Yes. I'm so happy. Yeah, this is awesome. And Dr. Chang, any farewell words, see you later words, and of course, where can we find you?
Yeah. So I would say this is a great time for people to look for opportunities, opportunities for change, opportunities to do things differently. It's easy to get swept up going on and just kind of get pushed along or pulled along, and we will all find a new normal. But I just want you to ask yourself, is that the normal that you want? Are the things that you're doing intentionally, or are you just doing them because it's kind of been put upon you? And this is a great time. You have now the time, the space, the energy, the opportunity to make some decisions about things in your life, if you choose to. And so you decide how you want to live your life and your interactions and your relationships moving forward. And of course, I'm military, so I don't take any patients or anything. Yes, but I online, I do have my weight loss for women, and so it's really teaching women how to get rid of the food cravings, to feel more comfortable in their body, and that is at betterasuage.com. I have a Facebook page. I have a Facebook group. I'm on Instagram. That's betterasuage.com. And right now we're doing a free 30-day wellness challenge, really just to help people with the COVID-19 or whatever they're having, but really just teaching you, even in this moment, how to use this opportunity to start taking care of yourself and focusing on the things that really mean the most to you. And so that's what it's all about. So if you go there and DM me, I can get you in the challenge.
Awesome. Oh my goodness. Ladies, thank you so much. First of all, for the response, because you know how they say many are called. I appreciate you ladies for coming on. Really, I do. It was kind of sort of short notice. I didn't even, I was like, I need to do something else that's also evergreen, that's going to stay, because I haven't had a chance to speak to just doctors and just kind of know how has it really affected you. Because I know for me, I've had ups and downs and weird emotions, and my parents are still alive. Is my dad going to be okay? Is my mom going to be okay? What about my siblings? Will they be okay? All of these things, and I can't control everybody. I can't. Some are in Europe, some are here, some are in Nigeria. I mean, you know, are they all going to be okay? So those are real emotions that I feel like we haven't really honestly been allowed to even like express, because everyone wants to look like they've got it together. But I don't have it together. And I wanted to speak to people who can also understand, and we didn't get a chance to talk about the other stuff that's happening to African Americans in America. So I really didn't want to, that's a day's podcast.
Yes,
So
it
I'm
is.
just gonna wait. Yeah, I knew I had said I was gonna do that, but I said no. I love the way this was going. I wanted to keep it to your personal self, your family, and then work, because really that's what I wanted to talk about, and we were able to do that. So, ladies and gentlemen, you heard them. They came here. They laid it on the table. Thank you so much, Dr. K and Dr. Chang. Y'all have been awesomeness.com. I appreciate it. Absolutely fantastic. I'll see you all somewhere on the internet. I just know I will.
Yes.
All right.
Thanks
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, you're very
Thank you.
welcome. Y'all, this is Dr. Lulu, aka the Momatrician. I'm going to sign out. I'll see you guys. Don't forget to download, subscribe, share, rinse, and freaking repeat. Okay? On that note, I'll see you guys later.